Welcome to Fix and Fly, the business podcast for SMEs looking to stay ahead of change, overcome challenges, and unlock new opportunities for growth. Every fortnight, we speak with founders, leaders, and experts sharing practical strategies to help you grow your business and create more time, freedom, and flexibility. I'm your host, Larissa Logan from Alert, where we're helping businesses make better decisions with AI. Hi, Renee. Thank you so much for joining me on the Fix and Fly podcast.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Good to meet.
Coco's has been an established brand on K Road for a long time.
Yes, we are 17 years this September actually.
So tell us about your journey.
I started the business with my sister 17 years ago, and actually even that statement is a weird one because 17 years ago I would have never introduced Coco's like that, and that shows how concepts and businesses change. So when we opened Coco's, we would always just talk about it as a restaurant. So we wanted to open a restaurant. We didn't know or want to have a business. We knew about hospitality, and we knew about food, and we knew about looking after people, and we knew about manaakitanga and being good hosts, but we didn't know shit about business. We wanted to be a great restaurant, and really that's all we cared about. And it came much later that the realization that actually we had a business, and that was a big kind of mental shift when things became a little bit harder and you had to care about cash flow, and you were putting out fires and dealing with staff and suppliers and not getting the products you wanted when you wanted them, and all of these things. After a few years, I definitely realised I didn't want to be just good at hospo. I didn't want to be a good restaurant. We wanted to be good business owners. I wanted to be good at business and have a great hospitality establishment.
So what did you do to kind of make that shift?
It just evolved, it just evolved naturally because you mature and you then start having to, you start worrying about your pro tax and you start doing forecasts. But we were very lucky in some ways because the restaurant became very busy very quickly, and because we'd set it up on a shoestring and we'd set it up in a way that it wasn't a big business, it wasn't a big restaurant, it was really compact. And so our overheads were kind of low, our staff costs were low because it was Damaris and I doing everything at that point, which is really common for startups where you do everything. But then as the years go on, you want to expand, you want to get a bit bigger, you take on more people, you're more exposed. And so then you have to start worrying about all those other things that pop up, because then, you have weeks where you might not make money, or you have weeks where all of a sudden you're in your overdraft. And this was all these things were completely new for us. At the beginning, we were really busy, and so turnover was great. And so we never had to worry. And then as more competition came onto Karangahape Road, we had a few downturns. We had roading projects and cycleways and city rail links and pandemics, and all of these things have challenged the business. You have to always care about hospitality. That's your key product. That's your business. But now you have to worry about all these other things as well, because they are affecting your core business.
There is so much in that. But the first thing I want to ask is, out of all of those challenges, what was the worst to get through?
The hardest has been the last 2 years. But then I think if you'd asked me after the pandemic, I would say, oh my God, that was the worst. I was so stressed. The thing that's been good and exciting is you can't get bored. The business I have now is completely different from the business I had at 17. At the 10-year mark, I wanted to sell. I was like, 10 years, it's a good time, it's been successful, it's been profitable, we have got a good reputation. It's like we could hand it over and we could go off and do our own things. And then that summer was COVID. As that was rolling out, I didn't want that really firm idea of 10-year is a good bookmark. Let's move on. Let's do something else. I didn't want that to get caught up with, oh, this is a pandemic thing. And then I realised actually this is the time to stay and figure it out and work through this crazy time, because this is another business. So we stayed and we sat and we worked through that, and it was definitely the right move. But yes, before I would have said that, and now I would say the last 2 years have been so difficult for our industry. There are just less people going out, and when they do go out, they've got less money. So obviously that has had a big impact on hospitality and on us. But it's not just a cash flow thing. It's that state, that mental state. It's because you're busy, but you're not busy like when you're got great turnover and you're just like running around and it's all happening. It's like a different type of busy. It's a grind, and that is what's hard.
Yeah, I mean, there's just so much out of your control.
Yeah.
And then just having the capacity every day, something else hits you and it's coming from left field and you don't know, and you have no control over it, whether it's the cycle lane or the economy or,
petrol prices,
exactly.
wars,
Yeah.
weather events. I mean, that's a whole new one the last couple of years, big weather events. Now when it's like they think it's going to rain heavy or flood, or they get one of those, crazy beeps on their phone, they just don't go out. Even if it's coming in 2 days' time, they just won't go out. Aucklanders will just not go out because they're like, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if my driveway's going to flood. I don't know if my car's going to get stuck somewhere. So for 2 days, they just don't go out.
So interesting you said that, because this platform that I'm building, I was thinking about it yesterday. I thought, I'm actually going to build in rain days as a skill to forecast out revenue, that if it's predicting rain mid-year, then we're going to drop maybe revenue a little bit. So that's an actual thing.
That's an actual thing.
Okay.
That's an actual thing.
Thank you.
And
that's just answered a question for me.
Yeah, we have seen it, and now I know, it kind of it's been building over the last couple of years, but now, I'll ring my business partner and I said, okay, it's going to be dead, tomorrow night. They've forecasted a red alert so we can get rid of a person, don't order that much fish.
Those alerts are annoying.
I know.
They're so annoying.
And your heart goes like,
Yeah.
So before it would be, you get annoyed about these things and you're like, come on, people, you can still go out. It's not like it either hasn't happened yet or whatever. But it is what it is. That is just human behaviour. We just have to learn to react to it.
So, okay, let me throw another thing at you. What do you think about fertiliser, food crops, and the next 12 months of food prices?
When the Iranian-US war kicked off, it wasn't even a week later. It was like the next day we were getting emails saying 5% rise, 10% rise, or it was freight, or whatever. There were charges. So that told me that actually possibly some of the suppliers had just been sitting on rises that they didn't want to pass on. And we don't want to pass them. Coco's is like a really simple restaurant. It's pasta and pizza. We don't wear uniforms. There's, it's casual, it's fun. So we don't want to be selling a $40 pizza. Like, it's not.
What do you do though? Because
you have to put your prices up.
Exactly.
You just have to. Otherwise, you'll price yourself out of the game. And I truly value what we offer. I think people are getting a good time and good food. And I know people don't leave feeling stitched up. But yeah, so we have to pass it on.
Is there a special way that you message that to your customers when you do have to put through a price increase?
It's not like other products where you would have to like give people a heads up. They choose to come in, they choose to sit down, they check the menu, they listen to the specials, they look at the boards, and so the price is there all the steps along. So it's not like a big surprise to them. It's more about the size, and it doesn't match what they know that the prices are going to go up, but they don't want to see it shrinking. And last time they came, they got the portion was this, or they got 3 of that, and now they only got 2. Those are the things that they don't like.
Yeah, and you have quite a loyal customer following, which is great. How important is that for a business to have repeat customers?
You're lost without them, and it's also not very fun. Building that community and seeing those familiar faces and having people bring back friends. It creates an energy and a feeling in a restaurant, but not just a restaurant, any businesses. And actually that's an X factor you can't put a price on, and it's very hard to put it on your mission statement or build it into your brand. You have to recognize it and work hard to maintain it and never take it for granted. And when those people come in and they come in happily and because they want to be there and they've made a decision, and it is a decision, they could have chosen to go to any bar or restaurant across the whole of the city, but when they choose you, that energy that they bring, and when they're excited to bring their neighbour who's just moved from Sydney or whatever it is, and they are proud of you and their experience and their invitation to their friend or their family or whatever, that creates a buzz and an energy which people walk in and they're like, oh, what is it about this place? We've all been to those places and you're like, yeah, the music is good, the food is good, but it's just got a something. And it's all of those things. Like, we only do half of the work, really. Like, our customer, our guest, our patron does the other half. We are a team. We are a partnership together. If you don't understand that and know how to work it and manage it and massage it just so that it's always there, then you can have a great brand, good marketing, run your socials well, have great specials. But if you don't recognize that partnership between your team and your customer base, then it's a missed opportunity.
Have you always known that, or did you learn that along the way?
It's deepened. My understanding of that has deepened, but I worked with some good people who they probably didn't articulate it like that, and we never sat down and discussed it. But I worked with a couple of great maîtres and owners who it was dinner and a show. It wasn't just about the food. It was never just about the food. Managing those relationships, looking after regulars, recognising people. Everyone knows that, I go to my local cafe, they know my coffee and stuff like that. But, that's the mechanical part. The fact is they know your coffee means they know you, means they know what you like, what you don't like. And so it's really important, but it's also a mental amount that good hospitality professionals and good business owners who have small, these types of businesses, it's very hard to build that in anywhere. Like, how do you build that into your price of your steak and chips or your pizza or whatever? And it does take a mental load sometimes, to be covering all that, noticing all that, and then making sure that never just sits with the top layer of your team, making sure that all of that is gently, through some sort of weird osmosis, passed down to the next layer and the next layer, and to even the kitchen hand who only comes in once a week. Like, how can they pick up on these little bits of threads?
So let's talk about that then. Staff is one of your largest input costs.
Yeah,
right?
The largest,
yeah. How do you get the right team? And what are your learnings over the years?
Yeah, so the learning I'll do first, because that's an easy one. You just have to trust your gut. And I do reference checks, and not everybody does them, but I will, but not in the traditional sense of just, picking up the phone, or not even just going on socials, but looking at where they worked, and then looking at who worked there, who led that team, who have they worked under. So, a little bit of secret squirrel stuff goes into it, like who is this person? And I look at the CV second. I always ask for a cover letter.
Oh, I totally agree with that. It's the person, because you can train anyone, anything, as long as they have the right attitude.
Yeah. So I put in any kind of ads or comms that go out on socials of what we're looking for, and I say, who was your best boss? What are you looking for in your next, your next gig? Where do you eat? What do you cook at home? And if they don't answer those questions, then I don't even look at the CV. And so then I get the email, and then I get the cover letter, and then it's like, okay, they worked there and they liked this, or they didn't like that. And it also gives them an opportunity to say, oh, I left this place and I left because it wasn't so, I really liked it, but it was because of this. And it gives them an opportunity to go, oh, well, I'm not just an AI bot who's like scanning through. So, and then just trusting your instinct and your gut of like, oh, can I work with this person? And if I can, my managers are going to be able to. And trying to see what they're going to be. And, hospitality has a lot of young people. So what is this person going to be like at 22, not now the 18-year-old standing in front of me? I think I'm pretty good at kind of gauging and reading, but I have been surprised by a few young people who, I take them on, and there was, we had a couple of young guys, and I was ready to like cut them. I was like, or move them around the restaurant. It's like, oh no, they're not working out there. Maybe we'll give them a try in the kitchen. Or they were nice boys, and so I just, stayed with it. Teenage boys, sometimes they just need a little longer. Where I'd had some teenage girls who worked for us, 17, 18-year-olds, and they were just a bit quicker to get the uptake. Whereas our teenage boys were just, quite slow, and I was like. But it just took more time, they had to mature, and now, they're doing really, really well. They, left high school, one's gone into chefing, and they're doing great. It's good to remember what it's like to be a new employee, and if they're not getting it, you have to go back and look at yourself and look at your team and looking at how you're managing and how you're teaching, rather than like, oh, they're just not getting it.
I think that's some really good advice. And what do you tell a business owner who's completely smashed, so busy, tough economic times, teams maybe not performing?
At the moment, I think it's that balance of letting your team know that times are hard, but they don't need to hear the heaviness of all the numbers. You don't want to put that on the staff, that they should be stressed about whether or not they're going to get paid. That is a good employer's objective always, is to be a good boss and make sure that their money is always there. But when you talk too casually about the difficulties of your business with the wider team, and when they don't have the context, sometimes they start to panic and worry, and that's not going to bring the best out in them. I think information is really important, and giving the team, markers and targets and feedback is all really important. But I think when managers and owners become stressed, they sometimes can maybe overshare where the business is at. And I don't know if that's always good, at least for your kind of your coalface workers, managers and management and higher up the chain, then that is part of their learning and part of their responsibility, and they're gaining experience themselves by being in these conversations. And people who are motivated and hungry want the good and the bad. But often your team who are front facing and working hard to keep upbeat, they don't need the stress of knowing that, a business is in a GST arrangement or, the nitty gritty. I don't know if all of that nitty gritty is necessary for a team.
Yeah. And so how is it hard to get talent in New Zealand at the moment?
There was a period a few years back where particularly chefs was difficult. I think it's always hard to get that top leadership kind of talent. For Coco's, we haven't had that particular problem, but I know it is an issue with a lot of my peers. Because we've been around a long time, and we've been really lucky that we have repeat. So we have a great waitress, they're with us for 3 or 4 years, they go travelling, they do whatever, they come back as a manager.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and then we've also, same thing. Chefs, they rise up a little bit, they go off, come back, here is your head chef or your next in line kind of thing. And so we've had that happen to us several times.
I think that says a lot for your culture, and it's very hard to replicate that.
Yeah.
What would your hope be for the hospo sector for the next 12 months?
Just hold on, really. It is going to get better. I do think that. I'm not just cup half full. I think that Last winter was pretty grim. People were really feeling it. Kind of started to pick up, obviously, over Christmas and summer, but then it felt like we were kind of coming out. Actually, we did see all those signs. And then with the petrol and the war, that all kind of fell away again. But it only went back down to where we kind of were before. At least that's my experience and our experience in the kind of Hospo Karangahape Road area. It didn't then do a further drop. I think we are on the other side. But I think we need to be careful just to like, oh, okay, summer, Christmas, let's all go again. We have to be a bit more resilient about, okay, we could have conversations now about landlords, about food security, about what all these things are going to look like, because we haven't seen the last of liquidations or people closing down or running give a little pages to save this, this place or that place or whatever. But that's not sustainable. People are drinking less. People are going out less. People want to be home earlier so they can go up and do a Saturday run club. I mean, awesome. I love that. But how do we, move to this new way without losing some really key operators? I worry about people who don't see a future or the opportunities in businesses like hospitality, which they are there, but it is hard.
Oh, it's super tough. Before we wrap up, I'd just like to ask you, what is the craziest thing that's ever happened in your restaurant?
Oh, there's so many. I mean, I honestly, I can't think of one thing. We no longer have live candles in the restaurant.
Oh, God.
So, yes, very busy bar, very beautiful, big, too much hairspray here. That was not a good time for me. The person who tucked the wine bladder into their top, and then when no one was looking, they were sitting outside. So maybe they were our customers, but possibly also the wider community customers. And then lifted up the top and had the tap positioned there, and then two friends just took a little. Yes, I've just all of the things. The waitress, who is a good friend of mine, someone a few years ago now, this would not happen now. A male customer gave her a pat on the backside, and there happened to be $50 sitting on the table. She said, "That's going in the tip jar. Touch any of the staff like that, you're out of here." Actually, you are out of here without talking to me. And I was so proud of her because it showed that they, all of those things about, we want the staff to feel empowered and we want them to feel like it's not my restaurant, it's their restaurant, this is their front room, this is their house. And that's why I love small and medium businesses, is that you don't have to email the CEO in America to see if it's okay to tell that guy he's an arsehole. She could just do it. And she knew that I was there to back her up. As soon as things get too big or we hand over too much, we don't have that anymore of our teams and our staff and our customers feeling like they have ownership over these places as well. Yeah. I don't know if that answered the question.
No, look, it's awesome. You are awesome. And I could have kept talking to you all day, to be honest. You've just got so much insights into the hospo sector. But look, I just wish you all the best in the next 12 months. Let's hope for a speedy recovery.
Yeah.
And lots of people come out and start eating out a bit more.
We would love that. It's a good time.
It is a good time.
Yeah. It's like going for an ocean swim. You never regret it. Just go out. You have a good time. You're like, I could stay home. Yeah, you can watch Netflix any night. You go out with your friends, go out with your families. You will, it is always a good time.
Yeah, so thank you so much for joining me, and look forward to seeing where you are in the next 12 months.
Yeah, lovely to meet you.
Before we wrap up, do you have a challenge in your business that you need help with? Send it through to us and we may feature it in a future Fix and Fly episode. We'll keep your details confidential and discuss the situation anonymously. Details are in the show notes below. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.